Hello, welcome to another Informatica tutorial video. My name is Fernando Guerrero, and in this video I am going to talk about how to override dynamically the file name and file directory from the Taskflow. So through this video we are going to learn why should we override the file name and file directory from a Taskflow instead of doing from the mapping task. I will show you a demo with the basic concept of how to change the value at the Taskflow, and then I will send you some references to another video that also show you some other ways to do it. So the first thing that you are wondering is like, okay, if we can use parameters in the mapping task and in the Taskflow level, why should I override the things at the Taskflow level instead of override the values at the mapping task? And the reason is you can achieve overriding values at the runtime when use the mapping task and mapping, but you need to make use of another concept called parameter file. And basically in the mapping task, you will point to the parameter files that you're going to be using that has the value for the parameters that you specify in your mapping. But later you need to create a separate script that is going to run every single time that your mapping task runs. And this script needs to repopulate the parameter file with new values. So this is a more complex process because you need your mapping, you need the mapping task, and you need that extra element, which is this script. It could be if you are running your system in Linux, you need a shell script that is going to be repopulating this parameter file. So you need more things in order to achieve the same. If you use the Taskflow, so basically you create your parameters of the mapping task, you have to specify again, but it's going to be just a placeholder in your mapping task, so don't worry. And in your Taskflow, you can make use of formulas if you need to. You have these functions that Informatica provides that you can generate any kind of dynamic value that you want, that you need in your process, and send that value to the input parameters for your mapping. This is a simple way, and you don't have to be switching between the transformation that you create in Informatica and shell script just to change things dynamically. Everything is inside Informatica. So the demo that I am going to show you next basically explains how to create the parameters in the mapping, then what kind of placeholder values you have to specify in the mapping task, and then how you can override the values at the Taskflow level. And in the demo, I will show you just the basic concept, how to override the values. There are different ways to do it. You can override the value directly into the data task. You can create assignment steps where you can create formulas to create dynamic values. So there are different ways. So I will show you just the basic concept, and you can take that concept and implement to any way that you need to change the value of your file name and your file directory. Okay, now we are going to work on the demo. I have a simple task because the objective of this demo is just to show how you can override at the runtime which flat file you are going to process. This can be used for different scenarios, and I will go into details. But right now we have a simple source and a simple target. When you select your source, well, you choose your connection. You specify. You can do a single object, or you can do a file list. Both of them works the same way. Okay, so this works for both the scenarios. So I decided to do just a single object, and here I am choosing product number 3. That's the name of my file. But I want to show you something. Okay, so this is the folder where I have product number 3. Okay, so pay attention to product number 3, products, and here I have another subfolder. Right now, the file that I am specifying here, it's product 3. Okay, and this is the folder where this file is located. Now imagine that you receive a file every hour or every day, and this file has the same structure as any other file that you get. Maybe the name of the file is different, or maybe the folder is different, or maybe both of them. And you want to dynamically, every time that your job runs, you want that it's going to be pointing to the new file, into the correct file. So how will you be able to achieve that? Okay, so here when you create your source, you are going to place these files here, and the only reason that you do it is because you want to generate all the metadata about which fields gonna be processed. We are doing just for that reason. But here you are going to see that we are creating. Let me go to the parameter. We created 2 input parameters. Okay, there are input parameters. They are type string, both of them. Simple input parameters. Then here in the source, you come to the advanced section. And you are going to see source file directory and source file name. And here we are using the input parameters that we just created. So this is how you are going to specify in the future the new directory where you have the file and the new file name. So just remember, okay? So here you can place anything you want just to get the metadata. And then in the advanced section, you specify the input parameters that you created. You save your mapping. Then when you come to your mapping task and you select your mapping, you will see that in the second step is asking you for a value for those input parameters. And don't worry, the value that you have here is just a placeholder because we are going to overwrite these values at the runtime. So here, in the mapping, I specified product 3, and this was the folder. Here in the mapping task, I am specifying products, and I am specifying this folder. But remember, those fields are mandatories, but right now we don't care. We are just using this as a placeholder. So don't worry about it, okay? Just finish. Then create a task flow. Here in the task flow, you will create a data task that is basically your mapping task. I have here, you see, is the mapping task that I have here. And then in the input fields, you can create input fields. So I am going to delete those two so you can see it. So we come to the input fields. We go here to add. And this is going to read the information, the metadata information from the mapping task. And it's going to find the 2 input parameters that we specify. So we can add those 2. And then here you can specify, well, it's going to be a content, and you can specify what is going to be the value for this parameter. So in this case, I don't want to load those files. I want to go to this subfolder. And so I take a copy of this path. And this is going to be the value that I want to use. Then I want to use this file. Okay, that's the file that I want to process. So I come here and I am going to specify the name of the file. Let me save it. Because this is a task flow, remember you have to publish. And this was just one option, okay? You have many options. For example, you could create an assignment steps. Instead of specifying the values here as we did in the input, instead of doing here, you can create an assignment step. In the assignment step, you are going to search, okay? You want the data task one. In the data task one, you have input parameters. So you see, you have the same one as before. You can specify a hard-coded value, or you can use a formula value. Because I told you, maybe the folder is changing all the time. Just imagine, like in this case, this folder here could be a date. For example, this is the date 30. The month 8 will be August, and this is the year. Because just imagine that you get these files every day. So here you could write a formula that will generate what is the folder where you are loading your information every day or every hour. So if you go to the functions, we have many functions that will help you to come up with a formula that is gonna give you, for example, which day is today in a string format. So it's gonna match the folder structure, and this is gonna be populated at the runtime. Maybe also the file name is changing every time that you execute your task flow. So you can also change to a formula and then come here, search for functions that we have, and you can make this whatever you need. Okay, so every time that this task flow is running, it's going to be recalculating what is the new value for the file directory and what is the new value for the file name. That's something that you can do with an assignment step if you want. Okay, so you have those options. Let me just delete this one here, so we can go to the simple one. But remember, this is just the general idea. You can do many things. I just want to show you how when you overwrite the value from the task flow, it's gonna use whatever value you specify here in the input files, even when you have a different value in the mapping task or a different value in the mapping, it's going to use the value that you specify here. So let me save this. I save it, let me publish, and we are going to run this one. Okay, so it's running. We can go to monitor, and we see that it is running. We're going to refresh. Okay, and we finish. It's gonna see the subtask. Okay. Look here in the parameters, you can see that we use this path, and we process this file just as we specify in the task flow. And just to double check, we can download the session log. I will open the file. Let's gonna search and see which file was actually processed. And here we can see that we process the file that we specify in the task flow level. So the process took whatever value we specified here, and it ignored the values that we specify at the mapping task level, and also the value that we specify at the mapping. So this one has precedence. And remember, you can use assignment, and you can create dynamically with the formula. a different value every single time that you run your task flow. So if you receive files that go to different folders every time, if you have files with different names, as long as the structure is the same, you can use this methodology to be able to override the file directory value and the file name every single time you run your task flow. The demo that I just present you was covered you the basic concept of how to change the values from the task flow level. It shows you that there are other transformations that we can use. For example, the assignment transformation that you can make use of formulas to change the value dynamically. Here in the reference, I have the link to another YouTube video that is how to load file lists dynamically in Informatica. And this video shows a different way to change the value of those file name and file directory. There, in this video, we make use of parameter file. It's a little bit more complex process, but this is an alternative. And in the video, you will see how instead of applying to a single object, we are using a file list. And the methodology that I show you in the demo can be applied to one single file or to a file list. And the same thing goes for this video in the reference. It can be applied to both of them. And also in this reference, you will see an example of one formula that is used to generate a string that contains the date, month, and year. And that's used to replace the folder where the file is located. So there are many possibilities that you can do with the formulas, and this is gonna help you to achieve modifying your file name and your file directory from the task flow. This is something that you are not gonna find from the mapping task. It will be way easy to do it at the task flow. So I highly recommend you to take a look at this video to complement what you just learned. If you have any feedback that you would like to give us, you can send us an email to our support email or also to our Twitter account. Thank you very much for watching this video.